You're watching the nation's best college newscast. 11 News at Noon starts now.
Suspicious accident after a fatal car wreck in Orem this morning. Why police are saying the crash wasn't what killed the driver.
Failing frustration. Why schools with struggling students aren't happy with the grades the state gave them.
And stress control. Finals are coming up soon. What doctors say students should do to keep a cool head.
I'm Matt Rascone.
And I'm Christy Jacinto. Welcome to 11 News at Noon. There's breaking news coming out of Orem this morning. A car crash is quickly becoming a lot more than it seemed.
Investigators are calling the fatal crash suspicious. They went to the scene and say they found a dead man who died from gunshot wounds, not the crash. We sent 11 News reporter Aya Khatib to Orem to talk to investigators. Aya, what happened?
Neighbors called police at 3 o'clock this morning to look into a single car crash, but they have now turned into a full homicide investigation. The car was going the wrong way on State Street in Orem, but it's what police found next to the car that caused them to take a man into custody. When police got to the scene, they found a dead man in the driver's seat and a passenger with no injuries at all. The car crashed into trees, road signs, and a fire hydrant before it finally stopped. Police brought in more detectives when they found a revolver next to the car. Lieutenant Greg Martiz says that the gun is the reason that the crash became a full investigation.
Just that we did recover a handgun here at the scene, and that the driver did suffer from a single gunshot wound to the back.
And you said the passenger is in custody, right?
Yeah, he's in custody of the police department, and our detectives are currently interviewing him.
And what's his relationship to the...
We don't know. We don't know if they're friends, or if they're related, but we don't know for sure.
Officials declared the driver dead on the scene from his gunshot wound. Police say as soon as they arrived, they took the passenger to the hospital and started questioning him. They did not take him into custody until they found the gun later. Detectives say they still do not have a motive for the apparent homicide. They also have not released the name of the man they took into custody. Police say they are still trying to reach the dead man's family, so they aren't releasing his name yet either. Live in the newsroom, Aya Khatib, 11 News.
Is the investigation still impacting the traffic situation there?
Police say that they are going to keep several of the blocks surrounding the crash scene closed until this afternoon. That's mostly on 800 North.
Thanks, Aya. The woman who police say collided with 2 trains last month appeared in court this morning and now faces several charges. Woods Cross police say they followed Bonnie Jean Stroud in a high-speed chase back in October that ended when she collided with not just 1, but 2 trains. The now formal charges against her include evading police, assault, and drunk driving. Her hearing is set for December 5th.
44 students and adults from an elementary school in San Juan County are being treated for carbon monoxide poisoning. Officials say a disconnected exhaust pipe from a water heater leaked gas throughout Montezuma Creek Elementary. Classes resumed this morning and the school is looking into installing carbon monoxide detectors. Martin McNeil won't stand trial for charges of forcible sex abuse this year. McNeil's original court date was December 4th, but his attorney asked to move the trial back. He says McNeil needs time to recover emotionally and physically from his 4-week trial. The trial is now scheduled for early February.
Utah's new school grading system shows that alternative schools are failing, but school officials are trying to show the state they're not. 11 News reporter Cameron Collins shows us why both lawmakers and principals are saying the grades just aren't fair.
Principals of these schools say the state needs to stop comparing them to traditional schools and grade them on what they're trying to accomplish. When this happens, they say failing grades will disappear. Alternative high schools tailor to failing students, but right now the schools themselves have failing grades. They bring in struggling students from around their districts to get them back on track. When the state school grades came out this year, the majority of these schools got an F.
That's a disappointment to us because we don't feel like it fairly represents what we do with the alternative school.
Principals say they have different goals than other schools. Success can mean just getting students to show up. Ungerman says the state shouldn't compare their students' grades and graduation rates to those of traditional schools. She told lawmakers to focus on improvements in attendance and earned credits instead.
You know, this one-size-fits-all system that they built and designed doesn't fit everybody, and it doesn't reflect the true work of the schools.
School teacher Jennifer Huffaker says she sees kids improving, but the failing school grade holds them back.
Some of them, they feel like they're already beaten down, and then to feel even more discouraged because they feel like they're at a terrible school.
School principals say the bad grades not only dishearten students, but parents, teachers, and whole communities. A legislative task force listened to these concerns, trying to find a way to hold these schools accountable.
The Senate president says it's a growing consensus among lawmakers that the way they grade alternative schools has to change. They want the grades to fairly reflect the school's successes as much as the principals do. Matt?
Thanks, Cameron. A new bill from the state legislature could raise the gas tax by 3%. With road repair costs constantly going up, the state is feeling a pinch in their budget. Their proposed solution? Let each county decide whether or not to raise the gas tax. Utah County commissioners are divided about supporting the bill because they say people can't afford it.
Provo-Orem ranks 5th in the nation for new job growth in the 2013 year. A study from the U.S. Conference of Mayors shows that businesses like these helped Provo and Orem increase the number of jobs by 4.4% since last year. The study also shows that Utah's diverse economy is stronger than that of most other states. Black Friday is becoming a thing of the past as the shopping holiday bleeds into Thanksgiving Day. 11 News reporter John Hammond tells us how stores are making Thanksgiving black.
Retailers make about 5% on their annual sales on Black Friday, and stores are opening earlier and earlier on Thanksgiving to get shoppers to stuff shopping carts rather than stomachs. Walmart, Sears, and Target started opening on Thanksgiving Day in 2010. Other retailers are following suit to try to get the edge on holiday sales.
If you open a little bit earlier than all the other stores, all the customers are going to go to you because you're the only one available.
Corey McFarland and his dog Shelly will camp out for an entire week just to get the Black Thanksgiving deals. He doesn't care about when the stores open their doors.
You know, so I have no family here, so it doesn't really intrude on my family time because I don't really have any family time here. But other people's it might, but that's the choice that, you know, like their owners are making. Or
some say that early openings is unfair for workers who should be spending time with family at the dinner table rather than a checkout line for shoppers.
I think it's out of control, and it's wrong. It takes away from a really important holiday.
Several stores like Joanne say they won't open until Friday so they can give a break to workers. Corey and Shelley, however, will be in line having cereal for their Thanksgiving feast. In Orem, John Hammond, 11 News.
Professor Larson says the trend to open early might not last because at some point there aren't any more hours in the day to open earlier. He says he thinks stores will eventually return to a traditional midnight Black Friday opening. I think I'll just stick to going at 8 a.m. Waking up that early is not too appealing to me.
I know. I'm wondering, what do these guys, do they not work or how? I don't know what's going on. When 11 News at Noon returns, at wit's end. With finals on the horizon, school stress is on the rise. What doctors say students can do to manage it.
And too close for comfort. One man went face to face with a tornado catching the whole thing on camera. See who won. Finals are quickly approaching, and for students, stress levels are running high. 11 News reporter Jenilyn Theoret is live on campus. Jenilyn, what exactly is causing all this anxiety?
Well, Christy, I'm out here in front of the testing center. You can see it right behind me, and I'd say that's probably where most of the stress is taking place. With less than a month left in the semester, it's crunch time on campus. Shanae Tate says it's not easy to be a student, especially during exam time.
I actually really like school, and I actually like studying, but sometimes it really stresses me out.
Psychologists say this point in the semester is a stressful time for students. It's common to see students stretching their limits, sleeping on campus, grabbing meals out of the vending machine, and cramming in as much studying as they can before they head to the testing center. Dr. John Cox says it's important for students to understand how they react to stressors and stay on top of their stress levels.
Stress can be a motivating thing, but if it goes on too long or if it's too intense, then it can lead to dysfunction.
Everyone's de-stressing methods are different, but Cox says that physical activities, games, and music are all good things to try. For Tate, it's journaling, and she says it's worth taking time away from school to do something she enjoys.
Even though life is crazy and school is crazy and it can take up your whole life, still important to be yourself and do things that help you. And it'll probably help you in your studies.
Dr. Cox works with the BYU Counseling Services, and he says if you're a BYU student who's having a hard time dealing with stress on your own, you can go into their center and get help for free. Live on the BYU campus, Jen Theory at 11 News.
So Jen, what kind of help does the Counseling Center offer exactly?
Well, I know you can go there and get tips on managing stress, meet with a psychologist. You can even participate in some de-stressing activities.
Great, thanks Jen.
Princeton University is trying to fight an outbreak. Dallas construction removes the X marking the spot where JFK was assassinated, and a tornado rips through a man's home with him in it. Here's your look at news from across the nation. Princeton University is offering an experimental vaccine to fight a bacterial meningitis outbreak sweeping across campus. The CDC says they will offer the vaccine to everyone in regular contact with the university. The vaccine is approved for use in Australia and Europe, and the CDC says it's safe, even though the FDA has not yet approved it for regular use in the States. Visitors can no longer see the X that marked the spot of the Kennedy assassination. Thousands are expected to flood Dallas this week for the 50th anniversary of the president's death. And the city says workers removed the X during road construction. City representatives say they have never officially marked the X. Street vendors have unofficially maintained it over the years. An Illinois man is alive and nearly unharmed after a tornado took a quick turn toward his home, with him inside. Chris Lancaster held a video camera on his back porch as a tornado swept through his town. The tornado seemed to be far away, then all of a sudden, Lancaster stuck in the eye of the storm, with no time to take cover. Miraculously, he survived with just a few cuts. And that's your look at news from across the nation.
Oh my gosh.
Like, to get that all on camera, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff, I am fascinated by weather and that kind of stuff to no end, but that would scare me to death. Wow, that's amazing. But luckily here in Utah, our story is not creepy, dark tornadoes, but pretty boring clouds. So, but we'll talk about a few changes coming up in your 5-day forecast. 11. All right, so the story of the day, at least for northern Utah in particular, gray clouds and some scattered showers. Here in Provo, I can look outside and you can see the sidewalks are a little bit wet, but it's already stopped raining and it didn't, I don't know, it's going off and on all day. So scattered showers, 52 degrees is the current temperature right now, so not too bad. One perk to the clouds is it does keep the temperatures in. Wind speed at 0 to 5 miles per hour and humidity, is at 50%. So overall for mid-fall, it's overcast, but a cool day. The big reason why we're seeing that is we have this westerly flow coming in from the Pacific. Our last storm, the one that brought snow, dove in from like Washington State and Canada. This one's coming from California, which is why it's wetter, but it is moving fairly quickly, and that's why the temperatures are a bit warmer. We're going to keep in that pattern at least for most of the week. Currently throughout the state highs are going to be mid-50s. So Provo, we're not going to heat up too much. 53 here in Provo, 53 in Salt Lake and Nephi. The only spot that's cold is Vernal at 48 for a high. And then St. George, again, the warm spot at 67 degrees. Overnight here in Provo, again, it's not going to cool down too much, low of about 40 degrees, 30% chance of rain, and it should stay mostly cloudy, though you may get to see that moon poke out here and there. But overall, fairly similar to what we've had today, at least for tonight. Overnight lows throughout the state. Again, not super cold, especially the Wasatch Front for this time of year. 42 for Salt Lake, 40 for Provo, and not much warmer in St. George at 46. Vernal's the only place staying at below the freezing mark at 27 degrees. Southern Utah, as far as 5-day forecast, we're looking at sunny or partly cloudy today would be a better way, and then it's going to change. You can see rain tomorrow and Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday, it'll continue even into Saturday. Small percent chance on Saturday with a high of 62. So your weekend plans, maybe don't cancel the barbecue quite yet, but could get a little bit of rain. Northern Utah, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're going to see that rain. But then come Friday and Saturday, it's going to cool down. but temperatures are going to stay in the mid-40s for highs. So cooler, but sunny, not too bad.
It's actually not too far off from St. George. I'm actually looking forward to our forecast up here.
Yeah, no, that's a bit of a change.
South.
I'm just glad that there aren't any blizzards in the forecast, because that's actually the reason I didn't go to the game on Saturday. But Clark, I heard it was quite a game. What did I miss?
Oh gosh, honestly, I can't really remember much after halftime. My hands were beat red at the end. You did miss some really good performances by the Cougars. We'll touch on those in just a bit. Next on sports, stellar standouts. After beating up on Idaho State, the football team can boast 2 new Independent Players of the Week, and they aren't named Taysom Hill or Kyle Van Noy. And use your head. Concussions are a big deal in pro and college football. See how one BYU student is using his noggin to save players' brains. Do yourself a favor and stick around. Sports. When you play a team like Idaho State, it's about more than just a lopsided win. It's about getting the entire team involved. The Cougars did just that on Saturday, and a couple of players have some new hardware to show for it. Running back Jamal Williams exploded for 131 yards and 3 touchdowns, including this one, on just 13 carries, earning him the title of Independent Offensive Player of the Week. Williams' touchdowns also kept kicker Justin Sorensen plenty busy with all those PATs. Sorensen went 8 for 8 on point afters, helping him earn Independent Special Teams Player of the Week. Concussions are a hard-hitting topic in football right now, but 11 sports reporter Mary Blanchard tells us about one BYU student who is finding a way to soften the blows.
So we developed this new type of foam which we're calling Exo Nano Foam. Exo because it can be used as a protection, and nano because we have nanoparticles embedded into it.
Jake Merrill hopes this Exo Nano Foam he invented will prevent football players from hurting their brains. Hard hits like this one can cause concussions or concussion-like symptoms, but football helmets embedded with Merrill's technology provide an early warning system, an immediate report on an injury caused by a hard hit.
Here's how it works. The foam inside of the helmet measures the impact of the hit and sends the data to a tablet that the athletic trainer has that helps them to better treat the athlete.
You know, any way that, through research and through studies to improve safety is something I think any player is for.
Trainer Mitchell Pratt specializes in concussions for BYU's team and says that while the foam isn't a cure-all for the head injuries, it is a tool that can help assess the damage and prevent more injury. Players and doctors aren't the only ones taking notice of Merrill's foam. The National Science Foundation helped fund his research, and he got an award from the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. Merrill thinks law enforcement, car makers, and others could also use this technology that he invented. In Provo, Mary Blanchard, 11 Sports.
Companies like Riddell and Schutt are trying to make helmets that reduce the risk of concussions altogether, but a study from our friends the Badgers up in Wisconsin shows that neither brand is succeeding just yet. Sticking with the gridiron, the NFL looks like it has a new contender on its hands. Tom Brady and the Pats visiting Cam Newton and the upstart Panthers. A little old school versus new school matchup. First quarter now. Release the Panthers. Greg Hardy gets to Tom Brady, and that sets up number 1 at the other end, dropping a dime to Brandon LaFell on the goal line. 7-0 home team. Patriots threatened to tie in the second, but Stephen Ridley fumbled that rock? Come on, what team you playing for, man? That sets up Newton, showing why he's a lot harder to sack than his counterpart. 24 yards down the sideline, sets up a field goal to make it 10-zip. It got interesting in the fourth. New England comes all the way back to take the lead, but Cam finds Ted Ginn Jr. You know where he went to school? That's right, the Ohio State University. Carolina takes the power back, but the other guys still have Thomas Brady. Pats in the red zone on the last play of the game. Brady picked off by Robert Lester, but you saw the flag. Check this out. Luke Kuechly basically assaults Rob Gronkowski. That's got to be pass interference, right? Well, you'd think so, but the officials wave off the penalty, saying it was uncatchable. Well, no kidding, guys. The dude got mugged. Tom Brady not happy with the call, but it doesn't matter. 24-20, Panthers. They say 1 is the loneliest number, and Jazz fans know that all too well. The team is still stuck at 1 win and is all alone in the basement of the NBA. A visit from Steph Curry and the Warriors didn't help matters. We'll start in the second. Curry drawing the defense on the break and setting up Klay Thompson. That's a goal unit. And so is this. Curry to Thompson. Together they call them the Splash Brothers. Golden State up a dozen for half now. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Andrew Bogut with the flush. Part of a 30-9 run to end the half. The Jazz, they're just not good at basketball. Third quarter, Curry off the steal. He's still sharing. Behind the back to Thompson. At least Utah fans got a show from the other team. 22 points and 8 assists from Curry. But for some reason, he's still playing in the fourth quarter. Jazz down 20 when Curry goes to the floor for a loose ball and ouch. Marvin Williams falls and hits Curry right in the melon. Steph would leave the game with a head injury. He's day-to-day, and the Jazz lose again, 98-87. This should raise your spirits. Thunder fan Cameron Rodriguez for $20,000. It's in the hole. Let me say that again. 20,000. 20 stacks. Go buy yourself something nice, dude. You've earned it. OKC's got to win now, right? Thunder down 4 in the fourth. Russell Westbrook clangs the 3, but a fortuitous bounce right to Kevin Durant. Redemption is sweet. That makes it a 1-point game. Under 2 minutes now. More offensive rebounding. The ball is eventually going to find its way to KD 3-5. And that's buckets. Cold-blooded from my man KD. Thunder take the lead. Then with 2 seconds left, that's J.J. Hickson chucking it up, and that's not close. Good vibes all around in Oklahoma City. Thunder beat the Nuggets 115-113. Guys, $20,000, one shot. Give me a shot. I want to take it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even hit the rim. I couldn't have done it.
Wow, that was awesome. I would have got out and get a car or something. Still to come on 11 News at noon. Under the sea, one hotel is bringing its customers a little closer to life underwater. What makes this room one of a kind? Don't some.
Need a getaway? A brand new underwater hotel off the coast of Tanzania will make you feel like you're one with the wildlife. Or at least with the fish. Manta Resort added an underwater hotel room just off the coast, complete with a rooftop deck, bathroom, and bedroom that's underwater. All you have to do is shell out $1,500 a night, and you can sleep with the fishes but live to tell the tale. Well, I'm putting that on my bucket list today. I will do that one day.
$20,000 we're talking about, you get several nights.
Yeah, that basketball fan, he has something to do now for at least a week or so.
I could think of a lot more things I'd spend $1,500 a day on.
That'd be a once-in-a-lifetime experience, though.
Yeah.
I would love to do that for at least.
Maybe just do one night.
Scary. That's 11 News at noon for Tuesday, November 19th.
You can join us anytime on our website, 11news.byu.edu.
Thanks for watching. Have a great afternoon.